When I was thinking, when I was in school, high school, about a police job, I thought about being a policeman. But I was bored, so I, not very smartly, but I quit high school when I was 17 and I joined the Navy. I got my GED diploma while I was in the service. When I was in the service, I still thought about becoming a policeman, but for some reason I also thought about maybe becoming a teacher. I can remember vividly being stationed in Alaska in front of a mailbox with two things in my hand. One was an application for the New York City Police, and the other was an application for Trenton State Teachers College. For whatever reason, who knows how fate works, I mailed the Teachers College application. And so I went to Trenton State Teachers College. The tuition at that time was $150 a semester. And I went because I could afford, I had the Korean War GI Bill of Rights. $70 a month was the difference. So I went off to be a teacher. But when I was in high school, I was a reasonably good student, but not particularly diligent. I was sort of, I guess you'd say, bright, but lazy, and not particularly pressed very hard. And that's why I quit high school and joined the Navy. Well, while I was in college, I decided, and again, who knows how these things work, I decided I wanted to run for student government president. And I guess I do really know why I did it. I was very unhappy with the quality of the speakers that they were bringing to the school. And I just made up my mind. I talked to a couple of people, said, you know, we could get better speakers than some of these people. And that was my sort of platform. Elect me and I will bring better speakers to the college. And I did. I brought Arnold Toynbee, Norman Thomas, John Hope Franklin. So we brought a whole bunch of very good speakers, so I fulfilled my campaign. But the campaign was interesting to me, trying to figure out how you go out and sell yourself to people to get them to be supportive. And I was very successful in the election. I ran against a football hero. And in Trenton State College at that point, you had beautiful people, the football people, the cheerleaders, all of the big people on campus hung out in the student union. That's where it went. But the rest of the people, the normal people, went and stayed in the fraternities, sororities. That's where I did my campaigning. And I won by a 10-to-1 margin, spending my time not with the beautiful people, but with the average people, normal people. And it was a good lesson, and I enjoyed the thrill of the election. And so I decided, when I got a Woodrow Wilson Fellowship to go off to graduate school at Columbia. And while there, I wanted to teach about government. But while I was in school, I was inspired by a professor who had just come back from the Kennedy School, Richard Neustadt, very prominent political scientist. And he inspired me to such a degree, I made up my mind while sitting in his classroom, I didn't want to just go teach about government, I wanted to be involved in government. And then I made really what was the mistaken judgment, I guess I have to be a lawyer then. So I went off to law school thinking I had to be a lawyer, which of course you don't have to be a lawyer to be engaged in government and politics. But I went there. And law school was a very interesting experience, very hard, very disciplined, particularly the first year. And I think what most people don't understand is law school is not really as much about learning the law. It is about learning how to think, learning how to be analytical, how to separate information from other information, how to reformulate that information into an advocacy position to advocate for somebody. And so thinking that way is very important to law training, and that's helped me in good position as well. I've been able to learn a lot and been able to apply some of that. Knowledge is power. If you know things, you're halfway down the path. And education is the way you achieve knowledge. Not the exclusive way. You get knowledge through experience, through life experiences, different types of things that you've gone through. But education is really one of the most important things you can do in terms of gaining knowledge. And education is just another word for opportunity. Education opens doors for you. In this day and age, without at least a high school diploma, I mean, in many instances, people in the past, without formal education, had reasonably good lives. They'd go work in a factory, go work as my father did in a shipyard or in a coal mine or whatever. Nowadays, those jobs are not going to be available. We're in a knowledge-based economy, and therefore you've got to have a degree of education equal to the job skills that are going to be required in the economy of the future. So knowledge learning things, and again, not necessarily just from books, learning from interacting with other people, learning from teachers. I mean, teachers have played a very important part of my life. I had a sixth grade teacher who got me hooked on current events just by reading the quiz section of my weekly reader. I had a college professor who taught me that reading novels, again, depth of Moby Dick is not just about a whale, it's about something more. There's other been teachers, I mentioned Professor Neustadt, inspired my whole career. Incidentally, I went back to talk with him about 15 years later, and he was actually pretty pleased about the idea that he got the responsibility. I wasn't sure he'd be happy or not, but he was very pleased about the responsibility I put on him for being responsible for the things that I had done.